G'day beer lovers. I want to talk about Donald Trump and how he's become the puppet master of the media. Now, during the primary process, I noticed that he was able to defeat 16 other Republicans for the Republican nomination by totally manipulating the US media. Now, compared to some of the other people like Jeb Bush, who had a budget of $100 million and he got nowhere, and Ted Cruz, he had bloody millions of dollars put into his campaign. Trump spent fuck all on his campaign, and he knew how to get billions of dollars of free promotion by basically milking the media. And what he did was he basically just created controversy, constantly creating controversy by controversial statements. And what he basically did by doing that was he sucked all the oxygen out of the room for all the other Republican candidates. No one was listening to any of the other Republican candidates because the media was basically totally fixated on Donald Trump and addressing some of his outrageous statements, which were just coming out all the time. And there's no such thing as bad publicity when it came to Donald Trump. He just fed on it, okay? The more controversy, the better, okay? So that worked for him during the primary process, during the Republican primaries, to eliminate all these other rivals. When it came to the presidential race, it was totally different. He was then faced with a very hostile media. So he had to work out how was he going to be able to get his message across without the media helping him to do it, because they were basically just lampooning everything he was saying. So what he did, he put out this perception that the media was against him and do not listen to the media because they just basically lie. And he was able to get that impression across. Okay, so when the media really got nasty and they were throwing all this shit at him, no one was really, his strongest supporters weren't even really influenced by what the media was saying. They had it in their head that it was all just fucking lies, and it was all just a left-wing conspiracy by the left-wing media. Okay? Now that he's president, he's worked out that he can't use the media via press conferences to get his message across, because all they're going to do is basically just take things out of context and make stories about statements he makes without really focusing on what his total message is. So he's basically totally bypassing the media and getting his messages across via Twitter. Okay, so he's using social media like no other leader in history has done. Okay, now I am not really into Twitter. Okay, I have signed up to a Twitter account, and the only person I follow on Twitter is Donald Trump. Okay, and what I find is I get his tweets constantly, all the time. Okay, and then I find that the tweets become the news for the following day. Okay, so the media grabs his tweets and creates the news stories based on what he's tweeting. So effectively what he's doing, he's basically telling the American media what to say and what to report on. He's in total control of the US media. Even though they are basically hostile towards him, they hate his fucking guts, they want to destroy him, he has become the puppet master. He totally controls them. And this, I don't think we've ever really had a world leader like this before. When you look at leaders in the past, like look at some of those leaders that were basically dictators, like Adolf Hitler, okay, and other maybe communist dictators as well. They've always used the media for propaganda, to get their own, to brainwash the population, okay. That's what the media's been used for. Donald Trump, he's becoming a very powerful leader, but He's not using propaganda via the media. He's pushing his own propaganda out via Twitter, okay, to bypass the media. It's quite remarkable what is happening in the world. It's very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see where all this goes in the future. And really, I think that he's got no intention of really ever getting the media on side. He always wants to present the idea the media is against him, do not believe what they're saying, they're pushing fake news. Okay? So while he's successful in getting that out, I don't think that the American media are a threat to him. Okay? It's going to be really interesting to see where this goes in the next 4 years. Or if he wins the next election for the next 8 years. Okay? Will the media eventually bring him down back to earth? Or is he just going to fucking totally destroy the media? Okay? I think the American public, the population, has a very negative attitude towards the American media. They don't trust them. And it's at a historic low. Okay? So I'm wondering whether the US media is ever going to recover from this. You know, maybe the only way they're ever going to recover is basically by sucking up to Trump. Becoming pro-Trump. Okay? Like if they want to score the big press conferences with the leading players in the Trump administration, they're going to have to suck up to him, you know? You know, at the moment you can see Fox News, they totally suck up to Trump. And as a result, Fox News gets all the big interviews, okay? But channels like CNN, MSNBC, NBC, all those others, which are more left-wing, they're not getting those interviews with Trump. They're getting a few interviews from some people in his administration, but they're not getting anything from Trump himself, okay? Yeah. I think Fox News are going to become very, very powerful, even more powerful than what they are now, okay? And unless CNN and some of those other news channels, news networks start to become more right-wing, I think they're going to suffer financially, okay? They're going to be forced to probably sack a lot of these left-wing journalists that work for them and bring in more right-wing journalists into their organisations. That's the way I see it, and that's what I reckon is going to happen in the future.